on late Saturday night. And I just started reading some of the comments as I scrolled back on X and some of the X accounts for people about Alabama, and I just started laughing. I mean, that woe is me, oh, we lost the game early in the season. Guys, any college football fan should know you lose a game early in the season, it is not a death sentence. Now Florida's a little different animal. You got blown out by Miami. You were upset by USF in a game you had no business losing, and you lose to LSU in a game where you were somewhat competitive, but so many major mistakes in that game, and LSU just ends up whipping you. So, then you come back and you see this past weekend, and everybody's scratching their heads going, this is what we thought we were going to get from Florida, but under Billy Napier, you go back to 2023, 5 consecutive losses, 2024, he has 4 consecutive wins to end the season after a horrible start to the season, which everybody thought he was gone after Game 4 or Game 3. And there's just the lack of consistency, and the fact that he won't fire his offensive coordinator is what is hurting and killing Billy Napier. And then all of a sudden you get an offensive performance like this, and everybody looks like they're on the same page. DJ Lagway doesn't even look like the same quarterback. He's mixing things up a bit. Granted, he had a new weapon in Dallas Wilson, which was fantastic. But the offensive line, the key to that win, guys, in my opinion, over in Texas, we can talk about Lagway and Wilson and Miles Graham on the defensive side of the ball, some of the other terrific players, and I think a big part of that was the reserves. And Coach, you and I talked about that last week. Florida had so many guys banged up. They did get a few guys back, but the reserves played a key role against Texas. But I think the big thing, Florida won the lines of scrimmage, which they haven't been able to do this year. Exactly. They won the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah. That defense, we knew the defense hadn't been the problem all year. But go back to South Florida. 2 touchdowns called back on penalties. Florida beat themselves in that game. They should have won that ball game. LSU, the 5 interceptions. And you're still really kind of in the ball game anyway with 5 turnovers. They should have been blown out, and they weren't. They very easily could have 2 more wins. Miami's a good football team. I'm going to take my hat off to Miami. They're pretty good. But I can see Florida going in there to A&M and winning this ball game. I think it's a different animal. Their offense is better than Texas, I believe. Their offensive lines, I think, is better than Texas' offensive line. I'm talking about A&M. But defensively, Florida matches up just as well as anybody, I think, on the defense side of the ball, if they're healthy.
Yeah, I think a couple keys to the game in the Texas A&M game. Third down. Did you guys see what A&M has done the last 2 weeks on third down? Mm-hmm. Goodness gracious. They've held their opponents to 1 third down conversion in 23 attempts the last 2 weeks. That's just very good. The problem A&M seems to have, guys, is to get things going. And I watched Elko's press conference on Monday, and I'll tell you what, he was not angry, but he was very, very factual and just said, we were able finally, it was frustrating because we threw the interception, we had some things going, and we just couldn't seem to get it going. And then in the second half, boom, 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 4 consecutive touchdowns, and they're finally able to finish off Mississippi State. But that first half, that game was close. And look, Texas A&M had a 17-play, 82-yard drive where they went for it in the first half on 4th and 1, and they didn't get it. Yeah. That just kills you. And they thought that was going to be the one where they finally punched it in and were able to get a 14-3 lead, and they end up not getting the first down, and Mississippi State takes over, and the game goes right into the third quarter.
Yeah. Mark, it's funny. I've gotten to see A&M play a few times, and I watched them a lot last week in the Mississippi State game. They have a couple of speed burners on the edges, the receivers. One I'm a transfer from Mississippi State, traitor, but we can talk about that later. But the only weakness I've really seen in them this year, it's like they know they need to get them the ball, and instead of setting it up by just pounding 5-yard run, 4-yard run, 3-yard run, and then play action, hit those guys over the top when the defense is pinched down, they try and go to it right away. And they've made a few mistakes. They made the one against Mississippi State in the first half of the big interception, where they're just going at it right out of the gate. They're not setting up the big play. So if Florida can get a couple of takeaways, like if A&M keeps doing that and just tries to keep hitting them right out of the gate instead of setting that up, then this game, can certainly have a different flair. If A&M has learned from this and starts pounding the ball inside, sinking that defense in, and then hits them over the top with the playmakers they've got, it could be a long day for Florida. But I'll be honest, that's about the only weakness I've seen in this A&M team.
Yeah, and with all due respect to Coach Manley, he'll love this. Special teams is huge for A&M.
That's right.
They are overall, with the exception of field goal kicking, which I don't know why, but Randy Bond, who's a senior, he's really not off to a good start, 6 of 10 on the year. But you look at A&M, and with Casey's Concepcion, he's already taken one punt for a touchdown this year. He leads the SEC in all-purpose yardage. He leads the SEC in punt returns. Their kick returns, they lead the Southeastern Conference in kick returns, although it's not Concepcion. They just really do a fine job on special teams, except for place kicking.
I can't wait. Saturday night. What time? What is that on ESPN? Mark, you know?
Yeah, ESPN 7:00.
Yeah, I cannot
Eastern.
wait for that game. That's going to be a good one. And the other one is at 6:30. Auburn hosting the Georgia Bulldogs. We got the great Mark McLeod with us. Hey, Mark, we're going to hold you over. Let's talk about some of our great sponsors real quick. Beef O'Brady's Lynn Haven. You're over there today. We all know their special today is 10 wings inside. Go check it out. We think you'll love it. Then head on down and see Russ and Amber.
87 days till Christmas.
It was 79 yesterday.
Was it?
Yeah.
My how time
Kentucky
flies.
math.
Kentucky, yeah. Hey, well, it's getting closer to Christmas.
That's right. And if you want something that's custom made, now's the time to get it designed so they can have it ready for you just in time for Christmas. Also, free jewelry inspection and free jewelry cleaning. And it's a good time with the time change and everything to get that new watch battery changed too.
Go.
And you can do all of that at David Adamson Designer Jewelry, Highway 77 in Lynn Haven.
And Russ loves those 49ers, no doubt about that. You're over in Lynn Haven anyway, so go by and see all of them down there. Now, if you're on Panama City Beach, we know today is the world famous J. Michael Spaghetti. Go check it out. We think you'll absolutely love it. We know you will. They have it for lunch. They have it for dinner. As a matter of fact, I'll probably be there for both. You want to have a great time this week. And come join Brian and I at 2:30 for the 2:30 kickoff of the Red River. We're going to be down at that Cajun place and listen what they're doing. You can't get this deal anywhere. We all know they got great food. Their wings are incredible. 50-cent wings. 50 cents. $5 pitchers when the games are being played. Now, they're going to open up at 10 o'clock for brunch. Let you get in there, watch game day, get your favorite spot, and then when kickoff starts, that's when the specials kick in. Wear your LSU shirt. Wear your shirts, man. Gator shirts, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, USC, whatever you got. Wear Kentucky. But if you're an LSU fan, they score a touchdown, you get a free Jell-O shot. Same thing on Sundays. The North Shore Jazz Band plays from 10 to 12, and then the NFL kicks off. $5 pitchers, 50-cent wings. When the Saints score, which won't be very often, get up there and get your free Jell-O shots. That Cajun place on Thomas Drive, the food is unbelievable. We'll see you there. We'll be right back with the great Mark McLeod, 104.3, Florida Gators at Texas A&M. I think it's going to be a great football game. Cannot wait.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is your home for the NFL.
Touchdown, Denver!
We bring you the biggest games every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night.
Oh, he's got the first down!
Plus, we'll broadcast more college football games than ever before.
He did what?
Live NFL and college football play here.
Unbelievable!
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning, this is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Wednesday's weather forecast. Partly cloudy this afternoon and evening with a high near 87 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze and a temperature of 73. About the same tomorrow, around 85 with mostly sunshine and a wind around 11 miles per hour out of the northeast. Mostly sunny Friday and quite warm around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, Best Little Lumber Yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorrento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKia.PanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
The Kings of the Swamp.
Ball's loose at the 38. Gators got it. Wow.
Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
Quick race down the near sideline. 20, 15, 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Gators.
On your home for Florida football. The Gator Sports Network from Learfield.
The Florida Gators play here. Listen to select games on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And go Gators!
We already did the Gators. Now it's time for
Mark McLeod. 30 minutes with the great Mark McLeod. Hey,
I got to talk about
Mark McLeod's going to rack that
it's
shotgun
time.
and he hears that
I think it's time. I think it's time we put him down.
Time to put him down?
Yeah, call the vet.
Hey,
We're
old
gonna
Yeller,
bring him in there.
let's run out back behind the shed.
That's all right. Mark, we still got you, I hope. Did you hang up
I'm
on
here.
him? Oh, we got him. We got him. He's on the phone. Rocket, he's on the phone. I think he had a stroke back there. Go check on him. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go. Mark, let's jump into the Florida Texas A&M game. Let me go a couple things, then I want to get your opinion on it. Scoring offense. Florida Gators are the last in the SEC, 23 points a game. Texas A&M is seventh. They're scoring about 34 points a game. Scoring defense, Florida is seventh, giving up 17 points a game. Texas A&M is 14th. They're giving up 21 points a game. Total offense, Gators are 13th in the SEC, 354 yards. Texas A&M is 6th. They're rolling out 466.8 yards per game. Total defense, Florida is 7th, 295. Texas A&M, they're 5th, 289. All right, let's look at the schedule. Who have they played? A&M opened up with 2 cupcakes. They won up at Notre Dame in a hard-fought game. Then they won it at home with Auburn in another hard-fought game. Mississippi State, they pulled away in the second half. In my opinion, that's pretty tough. You got Notre Dame, Auburn, and even Mississippi State right now. Pretty tough. In my opinion, I think the Florida's a little bit more difficult, just a little bit more. You're at LSU, you're at Miami, South Florida, a pretty good football club right there. Again, we gave away the South Florida game. I think it's a good matchup. I think Florida can win this football game if they can harass the quarterback, if they can make him uncomfortable, if they don't have penalties, they don't get people hurt, they don't turn the ball over. It's going to be a very competitive football game. But I want to hear what you think. Do they have a shot? What's the key to Florida winning? And what do we see them doing and when you know they're going to lose? Give us both sides. What do you think?
I think they need to copy what Mississippi State did in the first half against A&M. I mean, you got to slow down the run game with Lacey and company. You've got to you can't allow Marcel Reed to just blast you there. That would be not Lacey, but Moss. All the different backs. They've got 2 or 3 different backs at A&M. They've been able to roll out, and it's been pretty good, even when with Moss banged up. But you can't allow Lacey or can't allow Marcel Reed to break free. He'll kill you. He could absolutely kill you. So I think there's a lot of things they've got to do there. But first and foremost, you got to stop the run. You can't let the run beat you, and you can't let what Brian said earlier. Look, they have the receivers. Concepcion and company, they'll burn you over the top. So you got to make sure your safeties aren't cheating in and doing some things which we saw Florida do against Miami. We saw Florida do against play or two against LSU. I thought the Florida safeties played overall for the year, played really well. But, you got Benny Sunseri, who's a former safety himself, back there coaching them up. And I think that play Florida looked really good last week, especially. Probably the best week overall when you look at some of the things they're doing there. They had some issues at corner a time or two. But, again, stop the run against A&M. That's the key they got to do. Offensively, they got to mix it up. They got to keep doing what they're doing. And they did a terrific job of protecting Lagway. And they did a great job of firing off the ball and giving Jaden Ball running room. And he broke, I don't know how many tackles he broke when he got beyond the line of scrimmage to the second level, but he looked like a beast on Saturday for the Gators. And guys, this is the problem that we've seen Billy Napier fall into is he gets ball going a little bit. There were 2 games previously in the early part of the season where there were series where ball got going a little bit, and then Billy starts having Lagway throw it around. But this was a different Lagway this past week. So, yeah, Florida offensively just keep mixing it up and doing what they're doing, take advantage of Dallas Wilson. They've got to figure out a way to get Trey Wilson into the game. Trey Wilson, he didn't have a catch last week. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was all the freshmen. Dallas Wilson and VB3, Vernell Brown III, were the top 2 receivers for the Gators last week. And, again, you're going to need to figure out a way if you're going to beat the likes of A&M on the road and Georgia and some of the other teams you face as the season goes on. You've got to figure out a way to get Trey Wilson the ball.
One thing that really sticks out that scares me, Napier at home, 7-3 as an underdog. On the road, 1-10 as an underdog road. That bothers me a little bit right there.
Well, Billy Napier won 1 game on the road in 2023 and 1 game on the road in 2024.
Yeah,
he does not do well on the road. They've been competitive in a few games. They've gotten blown out in a few games. So, yeah, they probably want to change up what they're doing on the road. And we've had those conversations with it in the press conference, and he's talked about changing some things up. That was probably, I guess, probably back in the early 24 season that we had that conversation with it.
You know, one thing that might be worth keeping an eye on. I just looked this up. Texas A&M, of 136 teams in Division I football, they are the 4th most penalized team in the country, averaging 9.5 penalties per game, 70-something yards per game.
Wow, 9.5? Good Lord.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is. I think you've seen the development there, though. The thing that should concern Florida fans, you're starting to see better play in terms of the passing game from Marcel Reed.
Mm-hmm.
He's 11 touchdowns, 3 picks on the year.
That's right.
He's coming up a bit in the quarterback efficiency rankings and just generally looking pretty good. It's going to be a good week of SEC football, another good week.
Yeah.
Every week. Mark, this is what the CBS experts say what's going to happen with the Florida the rest of the year. Florida at A&M. Florida's going to lose the ball game. They're going to drop to 2-4. 1-2 in the SEC. At Mississippi State, Florida for homecoming. Florida wins the ball game. Now they're 3-4, 2-2 in SEC play. Versus Georgia, CBS experts, Florida will lose to the Georgia Bulldogs. They go down 3-5, 2-3 SEC play. At Kentucky, Florida wins. They're 4-5 now, 3-3 SEC play. At Ole Miss, the Florida Gators will lose. They're 4-6, 3-4 overall in the SEC play. Tennessee comes into Gainesville. Florida wins that game. Now they're 5-6, 4-4. Florida State comes into Tallahassee and pulls the win. And Florida Gators go 5-7, 4-4, and he is gone. Do you think that plays out that way?
It could. That's the problem with Florida. The inconsistency is the problem with the Billy Napier era. The inconsistency and the fact that he was stubborn enough to continue running his own offense. When, and I'm doing a piece for Butch Sports Radio that I wanted to do on coordinator hires, and you look at, I selected 3 coordinators. You look at Missouri with Kirby Moore and what they've been able to do. You look at Vanderbilt and what they were able to do when they brought in Jerry Kill and Tim Beck to run the offense, with Muhammad Langford coaching running backs and the run game coordinator. And then you look at Alabama with Ryan Grubb. I mean, those 3 teams, and would you know those 3 teams in the SEC right now are number 1, 2, and 3 respectively in pass efficiency. So, you get a good coordinator and it can make all the difference in the world. And Billy Napier went and got a good defensive coordinator in Ron Roberts, and then added Vinny Sunseri, but he can't seem to figure out that he really needs someone to run his offense.
Mark, we got to take a break. We certainly appreciate you changing your times up for us. We'll talk to you next Wednesday, 8:30. Are you going to the game, or are you going to stay home?
Oh, no, I'm going to stay home for this one.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate you.
All right.
See you, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
The great
Bye-bye.
Mark McLeod. I tell you, he is incredible. Listen to him right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida every Wednesday, 8:30, except for today. And hopefully we got Alabama's voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Chris Stewart, on here at 8:30. Talking about all about you need to know about the Alabama Crimson Tide. But right now, let's talk about some of our great, outstanding sponsors. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. Do you want to lose weight, gain weight, muscle mass? I tell you what, Jason Kovaleski's the answer. 2 great locations, 23rd Street and also Pier Park. Don't forget about Newbies, 4 wonderful locations. Love John and Charlotte. Newbies still on the curve. Watch all sporting events. The legendary Chad Mitchell. This is his 26 years on Bay County sidelines. Listen to Dr. Mitchell every Monday right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. What separates Chad Mitchell? He can do it the old-fashioned way. I mean, he's one of the first ones trained in robotic surgery. The guy is incredible. Stevenson Air Conditioning. I love Stevenson Air Conditioning. Get ready to talk more about them in just a second. Steve's Bike Shop. Steve is a swim coach at Mosley. Does an incredible job. His business, they've been in business since 1979. Steve's Bike Shop, right across the street from Sam's on 23rd Street. Go check it out. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwood. What you've been waiting for, the Alabama update. Chris Stewart.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Here we go. The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson will be awarding the Sports Blitz High School Player of the Week. This will go to the outstanding high school football player for each week. The player will receive a gift card from a local restaurant and an ESPN Northwest Florida t-shirt. Coaches, students, parents, and fans, comment on our Facebook page or call in at 850-215-6290 to nominate.
Tired of boring merch and want your brand to stand out like the big names? Elevate your look with Red 7 Tees. They don't just print shirts, they create bold identities. They are a veteran-owned custom apparel shop providing the kind of detail that turns heads, using high-quality digital printing and embroidery to give you that unique style you love with no minimums or cookie-cutter designs. From small business to sports teams, if you've got a vision, they'll help you wear it proudly. Visit red7tees.com.
Full residential and commercial projects from start to finish, Wheelhouse is ready to help. From the moment you have the thought to build to the moment you step through the front door of your finished project, Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering will walk you through all of your aspirations. Engineering, site plans, live architectural design, construction, 3D rendering, permits, and more. Wheelhouse Consulting and Engineering, 850-896-6597. That's 850-896-6597. And online at wheelhousedba.com.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Duplin wines and gourmet products so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown.
Scott Graham here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Jason Benetti and Devin McCourty have the call as Week 6 of the season kicks off with NFC East action between the Eagles and the Giants. Philadelphia, the defending Super Bowl champions, are coming off their first loss of the season last week. Can they get their repeat hopes back on track? Find out on Thursday Night Football.
Eagles versus Giants. Coverage starts at 6:30 on 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida. I don't always talk to Alabama fans, but when I do, I ask for large fries. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Alabama Updates brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning. They're throughout the Panhandle of Florida. If you have any problem, day or night, you call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They'll be there for you. They are incredible. They're number one. They never lose. Always win. That's Stevenson Air Conditioning. Let's bring him on, the legendary voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I will say this. My daughter, Janie, loves this guy. I met him up in Hoover at the SEC baseball tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Great man. Let's bring him on, Chris Stewart. Chris, how you doing this morning?
Coach, I'm great. How are you doing?
I couldn't be better. I want to thank you so much. I know you're busy. I appreciate you coming on and spending time with us.
No, glad to.
Well,
glad to. So it was great meeting you and getting to know you a little bit. And you did, as a father myself, you did a great job raising your girl. A lot of respect for that. She's a great lady, but then she's doing a great job at the ABC affiliate here in Birmingham, but it's great to be on with you, and I appreciate her making the connection for us.
Yeah, I tell you what, she loves you to death, and you do. Heck, you legendary. But let me ask you this, because this is the question everybody said. Ask him about this, and you got to be careful. I get all that, but you have worked. I watched you, the Nick Saban show right after the games. You worked with the GOAT. Now you're working with our new head football coach, who I think is a great man, a great coach. But everybody wants to know, what's the difference? What is it like working for Saban and then working with Coach DeBoer? Tell everybody out there, what's it like?
Let me tell you, it's one of those things where there was a tension. Anytime you were involved with anything with Coach Saban. If you were simply going to do a preseason show, or if you were doing the show after a win or after a loss. And ironically, after a loss, he was sometimes, I guess you'd say, less intense after a loss, because he knew he wasn't going to have to get the team motivated and get their attention for the next week. He knew he had it. Excuse me. But the thing that I'll always respect and appreciate, among the things I should say that I always respect and appreciate with Coach Saban, is you absolutely knew what you were going to get every single time. If you were prepared, if you were ready, if you did your job, there was no problem. But you better be prepared. You better be ready. You better have the plan, and it better be right. There better not be wasted time.
Yeah.
With Coach DeBoer, he is a very conscientious, very professional, but also personable and pleasant. I said this after spending a few months with him when he first got the job. I was part of my responsibility. You know how this works, traveling around, going to booster or alumni or any different number of events where I was basically, an MC or doing town hall type Q&As with him. And there's the time traveling on a plane or, where you get a chance to spend time around him. And I've never seen a more humble individual that has the same level of self-confidence that he does in a position like his. There's not an ounce of arrogance, and yet there's also no doubt of the plan and where he's trying to go. So personality is very different, but I'll sum it up. After being around Coach a little bit, Coach Saban a few times since he's stepped away, the answer I give now for the elevator speech is Hale DeBoer is a regular human being. And now that he's retired, Nick Saban's a whole lot closer to it.
Yeah. That sounds right, man. Hey, we're talking to Chris Stewart, the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Chris, there's another thing that you do that I just happened to see it one day, and I got drawn into it. You doing a show with AJ and Trent Richardson. Y'all do a great job with that. I really enjoy that. Can you go on Facebook and pull that back up anytime we want, or how's that work?
Yeah, on Apple, Spotify, it's a podcast. Anywhere basically you get your podcast. And Sinclair Broadcasting reached out to us, or reached out to me. Well, I say us, and that's true. Individually, we weren't a package deal. We were all contacted by Sinclair, which you may, have seen last season. They started a national podcast, and I've forgotten what they call it, but it's Mark Ingram, Urban Meyer, and Rob Stone from Fox.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And that's their national podcast, and they've publicized it heavily on a national basis, and ours was the first, along with Ohio State, Texas, Notre Dame, and let me see, Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, and Alabama.
Yeah, y'all do a great job.
The first ones they launch, and we've been really fortunate. It's done very well. It's been really well received. God only knows what AJ's going to say. And I remind him each week on the show, sometimes on air, sometimes off. Please, I've wanted to be the voice of the Crimson Tide for more than 50 years. I finally am. Please don't get me fired. So anyway, we are having a good time. They give great insight because of having played it, and I've been around and seen a lot, and 25 plus years of professionally following the Tide, but also having done so since I was a kid. It's really special to have a chance to do it.
I got to ask you, how you doing, man? You healthy? I talked to you about that in Birmingham.
Yeah.
You healthy and pretty good?
Coach, I'm great. I won't bore people with details, but 7 years ago in April, so about 7.5 years ago, I had a stroke in my sleep and was incredibly fortunate that I survived it and only had a minimal effect from it. I had blurred vision because of my left eye muscle drooping for 11 months, and then by the grace of God, it was completely healed. I was fine, but 5 months after that, really, I guess 16 months after the stroke, found out I needed bypass surgery, and surgery was a success, but I developed an infection pretty rapidly and was back in the hospital for 91 days, in a coma for 2 weeks, lost down to 115 pounds, no memory of a month. My family had been called in at one point and told, you probably want to tell him goodbye. It doesn't look like he's going to make it. And I'm a very blessed man. I'm back to full strength, whatever that is. I never was going to run a marathon, but I can go play golf with my son and beat him twice this week, which I'm really proud of, and have a good time and do the things that I enjoy doing. And I'm not sure why God spared me, but he did, and I'm incredibly blessed and grateful for it.
Yeah, he went through with you. You got a lot of great things to do. You're a young man. You got a long way to go.
A lot of people like you have been kind enough to say that. I'm not so sure that he has fully idiot-proofed my room in heaven. We're told we have a mansion with many rooms waiting on us. Yeah. I don't think mine has been child-proofed fully yet, and that's the reason that I've been put off. So But I am grateful. I do know that.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for my daughter. I think that might be one reason you're around. Make sure she stays safe up there. She told me she's going to be at the cover the Alabama-Tennessee game. I'm not sure she's going out to. I'm not sure what she's doing this weekend. Maybe I don't know. But let's jump into the game. I'm worried, Chris. Sure. I'm worried about this ball game, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
this could be a trap game. You got Tennessee coming up. We had 2 emotional games. Missouri, man, they're a pretty good ball club. And this ESPN computer, they put all the statistics in there. They do all this different stuff. They came out with Missouri 26, Alabama 24, ABC, 11 o'clock kickoff. Listen to Chris Stewart, but watch the game. What's your take? How do you feel about this ball game?
Look, I've had this one as an since the middle of the summer because of where it does fall on the schedule. I wasn't concerned about Alabama being up for Georgia. The question is, could you get it done? The record is not a surprise. I know a lot of people are shocked that we lost at Florida State, and I was a little surprised as well. But the fact that we're sitting here with this record going into the Missouri game doesn't surprise me. I thought we would be more than ready to play Vandy, and we were. Got the job done against them and bouncing back from the previous year. But with this game falling in between Vandy and Tennessee and being on the road, and
11 o'clock.
Let's not forget the most important part. They're good.
Yeah.
First 5-0 start, or only the 13th time in program history that they've been 5-0 to start the year. But for Eli Drinkwitz, it's the second time in 3 seasons. So he's done a heck of a job with them. It's a very good opponent who runs it well, who defends well. They will force Alabama to be very good again. The positive for me, among the positives for me, Alabama's on the uptick. I think Florida State taught them that they have to be ready and play with a level of confidence. It's not just doing the prep work, because they were ready to go. I think it's one of the reasons we were all kind of set back by the Florida State losses, because there have been 2 great weeks of practice leading up to that game. But for whatever reason, they played on their heels.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing. They understand better what it takes to win week in and week out. They do have so many weapons. They haven't scratched the surface yet of what they truly can be. You're just getting Tim Keenan back, and you're getting some guys that defensively are learning, some very young but really, really talented guys that they're excited about, that are starting to figure it out. And I'll be really surprised if they don't play well Saturday in Columbia. Don't know if it'll be enough, but I do think they'll play very well, and it's another type of test that I'm really excited to see them go and see if they can pass it.
Chris, you got I don't know if we can. I don't know what your schedule's like. Can we hold you over for a few more minutes, or you got to go?
Sure. No, I'm good.
Okay, we're going to hold Chris Stewart over, the voice of the Crimson Tide. Look, great man. I met him before in Hoover. He is a good person. My daughter loves him. A wonderful guy. Chris Stewart, everybody, Bama fans, you know who he is. And we got a lot of people in the panel listening right now. They wanted to hear him, and now you got him. And we're going to ask him more questions with Chris when we get back. But right now, let's talk about some of our wonderful people. We want to thank Stevenson Air Conditioning for the Alabama update. Now, where are you at in Florida, Northwest Florida? You got a problem, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. The guy is incredible. They're the best at what they do. You want a great lunch today? A world-famous J. Michael Spaghetti today, only in beautiful Panama City Beach. Today and today only. Lunch and dinner, it will be packed out. Best seafood, cold beer, you name it, everything at the legendary J. Michael's. Also, Turpo Pest Control. You want that yard to look beautiful? Patrick can make it happen. Also, you got bugs in the house. He can make them go away. Listen to Patrick every Monday right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Vandy Roofing. You looking for a new roof? It's Vandy Roofing. General Contracting. They design it, they build it. Commercial, residential, you name it, they do it. All the great Taco Bell, especially the one down there in Port St. Joe. Go Tiger Sharks. We'll be right back. Chris Stewart, the voice of Alabama Crimson Tide, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
game going with ESPN Northwest Florida. Just because you get out of the car doesn't mean the Sports Talk and Live play-by-play have to end. Just say, hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida. From Michigan Avenue to the man cave, from the car to the kitchen, we've got you covered. Keep the game going. Hey, Alexa, open ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Wednesday's weather forecast. Partly cloudy this afternoon and evening with a high near 87 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze and a temperature of 73. About the same tomorrow, around 85 with mostly sunshine and a wind around 11 miles per hour out of the northeast. Mostly sunny Friday and quite warm around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Take your next adventure in an award-winning Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Discover the new Kia. We invite you to stop by Bill Bird Kia and test drive the new 2025 Kia. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. The 2025 Kia SUV family has movement that inspires. Drive away today in a new 2025 Kia Soul, Seltos, Sportage, Sorento, or Telluride. Fuel the thrill and command the road in the luxury of a 2025 Kia K5 sedan from Bill Bird Kia. Performance, power, and design built for you. Spark inspiration in the all-electric 2025 EV9. It's a modern masterpiece, fast-charging, rugged, and roomy. Bill Bird Kia is the original home for the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by 2435 East 15th Street, Panama City, or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust. Your local community dealer is Bill Bird Kia.
Scott Graham here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Jason Benetti and Devin McCourty have the call as Week 6 of the season kicks off with NFC East action between the Eagles and the Giants. Philadelphia, the defending Super Bowl champions, are coming off their first loss of the season last week. Can they get their repeat hopes back on track? Find out on Thursday Night Football.
Eagles versus Giants. Coverage starts at 6:30 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm not prepared. I really am not prepared at all. I hope you won't judge me on one email I sent 10 years ago.
My apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Live from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Roll Tide, like Wildcat says, part 2, Chris Stewart. Let's bring him back. Chris, Alabama can actually make history this Saturday. Only four schools have ever done that in the SEC. 3 consecutive wins over ranked SEC opponents. We can't do it because we have an open date when we play Tennessee. So this has got to be if we win it, we've made history. It's going to be difficult. A guy named Bill Solomon. He is was a superintendent over there. Big Missouri fan. He's got a place here. He's got a place back home in Missouri. He says, man, the place is so excited. It's going to be electric. They cannot wait. This game has been circled. This is a huge, huge game for Missouri. We've had these problems on the road. Brian had a pretty good question. Alabama got over the hump going to Athens and winning it. What's it going to take to keep this thing going? Did Coach ever talk about that? How they addressed the problem on the road? Did they talk to the players about it? What's your take on that?
I think just making sure they took care of details, attention to detail. They went a lot of silent count stuff on offense to help with dealing with the noise. I know that they practice with about as much noise as you can. It's not fun when they're doing those drills and they've got literally the flatbed cart with this massive set of speakers that pull right up to the huddle and are there a safe distance away, so in case the play runs backwards, you don't run into it. But it's right there on them, and it's loud. And so it is they've got a noise prep and as good as you possibly can. The thing about Missouri is that, yes, the crowd and all that stuff, but they're good between the lines. And you're going to have to execute at a high level. The noise is going to be high, but the way that stadium is built, it only seats about 57,000 plus at Faurot Field in Columbia. So that's not going to be anywhere near as loud, I wouldn't think, as what you had in Athens or what they've had in some other environments. It's about your execution, not that the noise can't be a factor, and not that it won't be loud at their place, but it doesn't contain the noise. There is something about a night game. There's something about those stadiums that wrap around and go up to the sky and keep all that noise in, and this is not one of those. But the biggest problem is that Missouri's good, and hopefully Alabama will execute at a high level and be able to stop what they do on the ground. They've got a really good runner in Ahmad Hardy, who's led the country with 730 yards so far on the season. Now, granted, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he's done that against Central Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, and UMass. Mm-hmm. And this is a different team that they'll be facing. And so Alabama's got its work cut out for them, but I think Missouri does as well.
Chris, you look at it, everything's pretty close. Scoring offense, Alabama's 6th in the country, 36 points a game. Missouri 2nd, 45.2. Scoring defense, Alabama's 5th in the SEC, and Missouri's 4th. Alabama's given up 16 points, Missouri 14.6. And then offensively, they're the top 4, I think, on both sides of Missouri. But skipping that, because by this time, I want to ask you this. You've been covering SEC football at Alabama for all these years. You know what you're talking about. In my personal opinion, I was disappointed that we went, and I get it, it's all about the money. I thought it's going to be tough going forward when you're going to add another SEC game. You just put half the league another loss. The pressure on the coaches, getting the playoffs. I don't trust the committee making strength of schedule. Hopefully going forward they will. But I look at Alabama home and home games going forward, playing 9 SEC games, home and home with Ohio State, with Notre Dame. And you got to get, our fans have got to get used to going 9-3, 10-2 being really good years. I just don't see going forward seeing a team going 12-0 when you play in the SEC and you have non-conference games against really good teams from the Big Ten. And what's your take on that?
I agree. Tougher and tougher to do. And to your point about knowing it's about the money, Bob Kessling, who just retired as the longtime voice of Vols, had a great line about stuff like this. He goes, it's not about the money. It's about the amount of money. It's a tremendous amount. And that's the reason for all of it. It's the reason for all of it. So, look, it's going to be it's a gauntlet, but I think we can all, we're learning to do it. I talked about it last segment. We're learning to deal with the fact that you can have a loss or two and you're still okay.
Yeah.
None of us like to lose. Frankly, if you're an Alabama fan, you're not accustomed to it, and you never want to be.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there is an understanding that this is much more like the NFL now. And you do have more parity. And it's about getting to the playoffs. Yes, winning the SEC, because that's huge. And it guarantees you a spot in the playoff. But at the same time, it's about finding a way to play football in December, hopefully with a bye week, then at home, a bye week or at home before you go into these playoff games that will hopefully lead to another national championship for the Crimson Tide.
Well, Chris, I want to tell you, man, we certainly appreciate you coming on. You're a gentleman. I met you. I'm really impressed with you. Keep your health up, and we enjoy you.
I had you fooled.
No way. All right, buddy.
But I do appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide.
Roll
Thank
Tide.
you, Chris. Roll Tide, brother. All right, we
Roll
will
Tide,
be
guys.
back tomorrow right here. Brian, thank you so much. You did a great job as always. You in town this weekend?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. We need to get to Cajun Place.
I go where the car takes me.
There you go. 2:30. We're going to be there. Wildcat, you coming?
Why not? You buying?
Yes, yes. For you, I'll do.
Who are you talking
I will
to?
do anything for you, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, now we jump into Auburn. Andy Bersham will be on with us at every Thursday, 8:15. All you know about the Auburn Tigers, the oldest rivalry in the South, Auburn, Georgia. Listen to Auburn games right here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Earl, I hope you listen to this. I told Earl, you better listen. I'm having Chris Fleming on.
Chris Fleming or Chris Stewart?
Chris Stewart and Chris Fleming, his son. We'll be right back. 104.3. I don't know what I said.
What is wrong
104.3
with you?
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's old.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
What can you tell us about Malachi Tony? I mean, for this game, he had 7 receptions, 107 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he just turned 18 years old.
Yeah.
He should be in high school. He reclassified. They call him Baby Jesus. Someone asked me why they call him Baby Jesus. I said, well, either he's a miracle worker or he walks on water, one or the other.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Wednesday's weather forecast. Partly cloudy this afternoon and evening with a high near 87 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, a light breeze and a temperature of 73. About the same tomorrow, around 85 with mostly sunshine and a wind around 11 miles per hour out of the northeast. Mostly sunny Friday and quite warm around 81. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida, Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will